Hey, just got the mail. Let's see. Junk. Oh. Hey, honey. What's next? Just got some fan mail. Dear What's Next? I'm a big fan of the show. Really love that Marc Middleton. He's so cool. And that other guy, Phil or Bill, what's his name? I forget. He's okay too. Oh, come on!
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Growing bolder, what's next?
With Marc and Bill.
Growing bolder, what's next?
With Marc and Bill. Oh, and Laura.
We may have Laura in the regular open before this is said and done. Hello, everybody, and welcome to What's Next. And Bill, Laura, it's good to see you guys, even though it is remotely. And if I can be honest with you guys, we never really know what's next when it comes to this show. We thought this was going to be an easy to put together, kind of a loosely formatted live show. It's not. There's a lot of moving pieces. I think there's 10 different people involved and 15 different elements today, and it's stressful, isn't it, guys?
The funny thing, it'll seem like we didn't put any thought into it all.
Well, that's a good point. So let's show you what is coming up today, what's next, and maybe you'll get an idea. We're going to talk about Growing Boulder's unusual birthday celebration for Bill Shafer. And you shouldn't be smoking, folks, but what about sitting? We've been doing a lot of that lately. We're going to have a live interview with an expert from South Africa coming up in just a moment. And get ready for Susan Silver, because she's a groundbreaking, trailblazing comedy writer. She wrote for Mary Tyler Moore, The Bob Newhart Show, Maude, and many, many more. And she's going to talk about the loss of Jerry Stiller, who was a friend of hers, and life in New York City in the midst of COVID-19. And I know that will be a memorable conversation. Of course, we are coming up on Memorial Day weekend here in the States, which is going to be a very unusual one. Guys, what have you got planned?
Well, I like pantry cooking. I have a preserved lemon in my fridge I'm going to figure out what to do with. Very exciting.
And it's funny that this is the kind of holiday where normally we're thinking of what do we do with a 3-day weekend? Where are you going to go? Well, it's going to be like Monday through Friday. I think we're going to just be at home.
That's it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same thing. And it is very unusual. The parades, the picnics, all the stuff that we normally do have been canceled. In fact, for the first time in 20 years, AAA is not giving their annual Memorial Day travel forecast because, they just don't know what's going to happen. And while it is a shame, guys, that we're not going to be able to celebrate like we normally do, I think this is.
Yeah. I think what Mark was going to talk about is how that, it's Memorial Day, and sometimes that gets lost in the fact that we 3-day weekends are so rare. You just relish a day off and you kind of forget, Laura, what the holiday really stands for.
That is true. And it is one of our most important holidays when we think about it. It is our chance to recognize those people who've given the most and who continue to.
And that is something, especially now when we sort of do have some of our, not our freedom, but our normal routine isn't what it was just a couple of months ago. So in a way, it's another reason to double down and take a few moments and remember the people that created that really gave everything they had so that we could be in the situation we're in today. Mark, you're back. Where'd you go?
Well, what's next for me was an interruption in the internet. You never really know. So I kind of think I know where you picked it up. I think FDR said it best if we've not taken a look at what he said. And that is, those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them. So maybe if we're looking for the silver lining in this, guys, we will all take a moment more than we normally do to understand that Memorial Day is the day that we remember remember the men and the women who died in active service for the country. So I hope you guys have a great Memorial Day. And, let's move on because we got a couple of interesting videos. This is also graduation season. And we all feel sorry, I think, for high school seniors as their high schools do the best they can to try to figure out how they can honor them. And it's a graduation that we want to share with you from Pearl Con High School in Nashville. They had a drive-through, and this is Don Trail Spencer, who was a disadvantaged kid in that community. He's in his cap and gown. He's clutching his diploma. He is beside himself as he's driven past his teachers, thanking and screaming to them.
Miss Gleason, I graduated! Miss Gleason! Miss Gleason, I got it! I love you too, I got it!
Boy, I love you so much.
Hold that diploma
I'm
up.
proud of you.
Isn't that something, guys?
Oh God, that makes me so emotional because it's so non-traditional, but at the same time you see how important a teacher is for a student. What a difference they make in their life. That is just gorgeous. I'm so glad you found that. Very uplifting.
You know what it underscores too, Laura and Mark? It's that maybe now we're starting to really kind of figure out that we need to be more appreciative of the things that we've taken for granted for so long. I mean, graduation, that kid was so excited to graduate, a beginning. Who knows, what the job market's like when he gets out, but man, he accomplished a goal that was important to him. And man, don't we live for that kind of feeling?
Hey, man, I think that's a great point, Bill. That video has been seen by over 30 million people worldwide now, giving everybody an understanding of what it does mean for some folks to graduate. The other video we want to share today was, it comes from in Michigan, and it was a granddaughter who wanted to celebrate her 87-year-old grandmother. So she and her family showed up at the senior living home to sing her You Are My Sunshine. And before grandma could even make it to her balcony, residents throughout the community were on theirs enjoying this serenade.
The whole crew out. My sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
It's the little things, isn't it?
That's it.
Again, it's appreciation. We talked several weeks on this program about my mom and dad. They're both in their 90s. We've been doing that we never did before. We've been doing the FaceTime stuff like we're doing right now with everybody. They think it's magic. And we're all calling our families and our friends more than we did before. And man, that's I'm getting the soap out. It's about heart. That's what this is about.
Yeah. No, it is great. And I think we're going to talk about this later with one of our guests. It's forcing a lot of people to use technology in ways that they hadn't previously, and it's enriching their lives, as they do it. Folks, I'll be honest with you. We were getting very nervous about our 6th season on public broadcasting television stations nationwide. We got a lot of great content, but we've been unable to get into the studio, to tie it all together, to do the intros and the outros, the ins and the outs. And we were literally running out of time when we finally got permission to do a socially distanced, mask wearing, disinfectant spraying, minimal crew taping session just 2 days ago. Here, in fact, here's Mike. You've met him on this show, and Jason Morrow, as they, did all of the technical end of this. Our executive producer for the show is Jackie Carlin. She was there. Of course, Bill Shafer was there doing his thing. I was there doing my thing. Unfortunately, one of the biggest disappointments is Laura could not be there in person, but take a look. She definitely participated and will be in every show. And Laura, you're looking pretty good there.
That's my happy picture. Me in the great outdoors exploring. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but of course we can't travel yet from New York and we have to socially distance, but thank you for including me that way.
So what are we going to do, Mark? How are we going to make sure that Laura's in the show as much as we need her to be this season?
Well, she's as everybody knows here, she's a very smart woman. She's got a lot to say. She's produced a lot of content for us, so she's just going to deliver it from home. In fact, I may be telling more than I should. Her brother is a documentary filmmaker who also lives near New York, so we are engaging her brother to drive to her house. She has given him permission, and I think it's the only person that she would allow in her house during this time to shoot her. So that's how we're going to make it work.
And he's sacrificing quite a bit because his wife said he has to quarantine 7 days after being at my house.
So is that because she knows you really well, Laura, or is that from something else?
She's just being extra cautious.
I want to show you two more pictures from our shoot 2 days ago. The other one, this is breaking news, folks. We'll have a news release about Laura and Mike Leonard joining the Growing Bolder team this year. Mike Leonard, if you know the name, was a correspondent for the Today Show for over 30 years. For my money, folks, he's one of the greatest storytellers alive. He's going to do a series called In Common with Mike Leonard, where he examines the common characteristics that all of us as humans share. Very uplifting. This guy is really a philosopher and a poet as much as anything. So Mike Leonard and Laura Savini, along with Dr. Jim Smith, are joining the Growing Bolder team as regular correspondents and collaborators this year. Pretty exciting.
The show's going to go through the roof. Mike Leonard was the guy who, when his stories ran on the Today Show, everything stopped. All of the anchors, they stopped, they teared up, they looked at each other, they laughed. He's amazing. And folks, you've got to tune in to see what Mike Leonard's up to.
It's very exciting. I'm impressed with what you guys did in the, as we just saw on Facebook there, in your physically distanced production. Congratulations.
Well, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know what Bill Shafer would have done normally, but it was his birthday on Wednesday, the day that we shot. So we did have a birthday celebration, and take a look at this. How wild is this? All of us here partying with Bill.
It was a lot, Mark. It was a lot like my high school and college dating experiences where everybody tried to keep at least 6 feet away from me. But, last year, I was thinking about that. Last year on my birthday, I sat in with a band here in town, My Generation, one of the top musical bands. And we were all like compressed in this tiny little club. And I don't know when we're ever going to get to do stuff like that again. So this was great. You guys are the Growing Bolder family. And folks, you're part of the Growing Bolder family. The Growing Bolder family is one that cares about each other, that supports each other, that helps each other through the tough times and celebrates the good times. And that's just an example. It doesn't matter what the restrictions are. We're going to help each other. We're going to propel each other to live the best lives that we can live.
Amen, Brother Bill. All right, let's move on because, one of the things all three of us are anxious to do is to move more than we have been, to get away from the refrigerator a little bit. And Laura, I know you're one who has always believed in regular exercise. What are you looking forward to doing when we return to the new normal?
Well, I want to get back out on my bicycle. And, I am not a natural athlete. So this has been, it's a little bit tricky for me because sometimes I really have to push myself to get out there. And during the winter, I didn't get out so much. And now I have to say I'm a little bit concerned with the coronavirus and being out there. Do you wear a mask? Do you not wear a mask? Can you be on the public paths? I don't know. It's going to be a little bit tricky this year. What are you going to do, Mark? Are you going to swim?
I'm dying to get back in the pool. It's been 11 weeks since I worked out, and I won't get back in the pool like this for some time. This was actually in a competition, but I work out 3 times a week with a group of primarily triathletes that are 20, 25 years younger than me. But it's a great workout group, and swimming for me is a meditation. It's a mindfulness experience. It's almost yoga. It's stretching. It's breathing. So I've been dying not being able to swim, but I do believe come June 1st, we're back in the pool. Billy, what are you going to do?
For me, I used to go to the gym. That's how I would get exercise, and you can't do that, or you couldn't. And now I'm scared to go back. And you were talking about the pool. Any swimmer, everybody's a swimmer. You couldn't do it. So that really has been a different experience. Laura, I did start riding my bike. Now, I've got a department store bike. It's years old, but I pulled it out and I did the trails in the area, and just the peace from being, surrounded by nature. It was fantastic. And I do it like 3 times a week now. And I'm pretty weak up top and don't have the cans anymore. But man, my quads are...
Well, but and you know, you said it, Mark, it's meditation. So I think for anybody who's a little hesitant to get back out there, it really, even if you just go around the block once on your bike or you walk a half a block, it's so important to get out there and move. It really is. You know, I don't know if you guys know, but I had a concussion last summer, and it was very hard for me to get back. And my doctor just said, you've got to try. If you're scared, if you're nervous, if it hurts, it doesn't matter. You need to get out there and just face the fear, face that anxiety, and just walk 2 houses if that's all you can do. And I think that's important for all of us, is just to get back out there after this stay at home.
Laura, the program is called Growing Bolder. Can I be bold enough to ask if there's a story behind how that happened?
Oh, it's so boring.
Oh.
Just a household accident.
Embellish it.
Well, I was out in the Hamptons, but I just hit my head really hard. It was bad.
And you know what I take away from that? I'm glad you're better, first of all, by the way. But that's a good doctor, because it's true. As we get older, we become risk averse. And a doctor that encourages you, obviously we need a doctor's permission if we've got health issues. But we can't use our age as an excuse to not get out there and go. And, one of the things that someone has said, many people have said lately, is that the future of fitness is online. And I don't believe that, but I do believe that increasingly it will be online. And, we've learned that lately with all of, the opportunities to engage in different types of programs online. And I'm talking about this because we've found a really, really good one that we want to share with you folks. There's been an explosion in online programs lately, but, this one is called the Optimal Me. And it's unique overall fitness platform that doesn't just have the most important kind of fitness for older people. It's the whole package. It's diet, nutrition. It's changing our belief system. So joining us now, we hope, our fingers are crossed, from her home in South Africa, is Liz Grantham, who is the founder of the Optimal Me. Liz, how are you doing today?
I'm excellent. Thank you, Mark. And thanks for having me. Bill and Laura, it's been wonderful hearing you talk about what you're up to stateside. And we're also all isolated and physical distancing and have limited exercise time here too. We're only allowed to be out of our properties from 6 to 9 in the mornings. So we're also all kind of really feeling the strain of not being able to get out there that much.
I would never get out there 6 to 9.
Laura would be out there surfing.
There's a 6 to 9 in the morning.
Wow, there you go. So Liz, tell us a little bit about the Optimal Me, because I looked into it and I was very interested and curious about it. And first of all, we should say that this is a program that is tailored, that targets people 50, 60, 70 and older than that. And we talk a lot about functional fitness, and I know you guys talk about integrated movement routines. Can you tell us what an IMR is?
Of course. So, and you talk about functional fitness. Well, functional fitness is based on your ability to move in a functional way. And they're very specific movements that science tells us we do that need us to be functional, like a lunge, or we sit, we stand, we need to rotate, etc. So what we've created, and Jannie Klaassen, who is the instructor that has created this program over 30 years of working in body, is about integrating functional movements, because our body doesn't work in isolation. We have over 600 muscles, around 206 bones, and everything works together to function optimally. And what happens with our bodies, like with everything in life, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm sure as we get older, we realize, we start losing our balance in our 20s. Anybody who's an athlete or does exercise or has had an injury realizes that you lose range of motion in your joints. To get it back is really hard work. So what our integrated movement routines are all about is about moving in a way that is integrated, that is going to support us to be functionally active in the way we need to be for as long as we can. And, we can do these functional movement routines all the way until we're in our 80s. I mean, he has got clients that are extraordinary, but it's about doing the things you need to do to get through your day in the most functional way. And Laura was talking about becoming fearful from having had an accident. You talk about swimming. Swimming is also a wonderful whole body movement, but there are very few other exercise forms that are that. So what we talk about with integrated movement routines is that you can use it as a whole program if you want to, if this is all you're going to be doing, or you can use it as an additive. Because, you talk about growing bolder. We say older, bolder, better. We need to keep our physical freedom for as long as we can, because that's what life is all about. We want to be on those trails, cycling or swimming with your young triathlete friends. And this is one of the ways that we all can be making sure that we are keeping our bodies fine-tuned.
We're talking with Liz Grantham, who is the founder of the Optimal Me. And Liz, I love this conversation, because I think it's critically important for all of us. One of our primary desires is to maintain our independence for as long as we can. And your integrated movement routines is critically important to that. And not only that, we're all going to experience setbacks, physical setbacks as we age. And to a large degree, the extent of our recovery afterwards is going to be dependent upon our overall fitness at the time. So thank you for what you're doing. And I have to ask you this, because I know you had a successful career as a marketer and advertising, working for agencies for major corporations. Many entrepreneurs end up creating something that they need to help themselves. Were you at a stage in your life when you were worried about your own future fitness?
Absolutely. And even more than that, I think my health overall. So, working in advertising is very deadline driven. Clients need things immediately, quick, fast, very little time to take care of oneself. And I think many of us suffer from that, even if we're not working. A lot of people carry a big load. You've got aging parents, younger kids, we just take care of a lot of stuff. And I was actually told that I was on the kind of cliff of having adrenal fatigue, which is sort of yuppie flu, or that, that kind of real stress-related illness. And I was told that I had to exercise to start getting my adrenaline under control and to be able to get my stress levels under control. And that was the first time that I went, okay, I really need to do something. Because like you, I was a swimmer when I was younger. It's the only exercise I've ever really liked. The rest has been just a chore for me. To do it, I kind of do it because I have to, but I can't stick with it. And I did a lot of research, and I started finding out about functional medicine, which led me onto this kind of whole functional movement piece. And it was really transformative for me. And in an hour, my whole attitude towards my body and movement and exercise changed. One 50-minute session, suddenly I wasn't popping ibuprofen every afternoon to get through the day. It really had a massive impact on me. And I travel quite a lot. So I then, a few months later, was in Barcelona, and I was kind of, oh my God, if only I could just do one of those workouts right now. If I could do one of those routines, I just know how much better I would feel. And that's how the idea was born, because honestly, it made such a difference to me. It's made such a difference to the people that have been doing this, that I just thought to myself, this is something worth sharing. Because I think, we're living longer. We know we've got to learn to move. Physical inactivity is actually considered by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. Never mind that we're currently living in a COVID pandemic. Physical inactivity is, in fact, a pandemic. So we need to all start somewhere. We've just got to try and find the motivation to just start somewhere. And exercise, like you said, for you, swimming is almost a meditation. Exercise and movement shouldn't be a chore. Ideally, it should be something that is pleasurable to us, because that's when all our fantastic, happy hormones and chemicals start pumping. When we're feeling good, we're creating dopamine, our endorphins start going, we produce serotonin, all our kind of pain relief chemicals start being produced. So it makes so much sense. But really finding the mojo to just get up and do it is I think, the part that often is tricky.
Coming up in a second, folks, we will tell you how you can, help start creating the optimal me for you. But, first, Bill and Laura made me promise, when they understood that we were talking to Liz, that they could throw a question out themselves. Guys?
Well, Liz, I'm wondering if you haven't exercised in a long time, maybe for one reason or another, health or other, can your system easily integrate exercise into somebody's life?
Very much so. So we built out a program where you can choose by level. So we have a beginner's program and an intermediate program. We also have different time duration. So for somebody that hasn't done something for long, they could start out just doing a very simple 5 minutes. What we do also have is there's a little assessment with the course we have, where it will tell you whether you should do a beginner's or an intermediate program potentially. And if somebody goes and explores our movement section on our site, they'll also find we have a section that's called Restore. So for instance, there's a wonderful spinal mobility program that's just, it's not an integrated movement routine, but it's a series of movements that can actually help you loosen your spine or shoulder. They're just a few things there. But you definitely can start slowly. And that's what we always say is, if you haven't done anything, get up and walk around your chair. Just really, we need to just start. So our program will definitely help ease you into becoming familiar with it.
That's good stuff, Liz. For me, exercise is kind of a funny thing because we all know we should do it, but if we have any reason at all to say no, I'm going to grab it. The knee's a little twisted, and that's why I was thinking about, an app. I can see where an app could really be like your best friend to help motivate you to do it, but at the same time, I get so confused sometimes by the technology. Is it a tough thing to kind of get the hang of?
No, I think, we've really built this platform, and I've been at this a long time. Let me tell you, this has been my biggest learning experience, is going from advertising, where it's, we make beautiful television, we know how to do all of those kind of things, to technology. It's been a real challenge for me, and the team have found me incredibly frustrating, because from day one, I'm like, I don't understand how that works. No, I won't know where to go if I have to click buttons like that. So we've kind of pulled our tech team back really from going, no, let's push the boundaries of how we do things, and we're to no, actually, we need to have a home button. I know it's old school, but we understand when there's a home button there, how to get back to where we want to be. So we've really tried to make the user experience very simple and very clean and very user-friendly. And what I always say is, if you have Apple TV or things like that, you can actually quite easily also project these workouts onto your TV screen. So it makes them nice and big and easy to follow, because I don't know, we're all wearing spectacles. I'm not wearing mine for this, but, seeing things on a little app, sometimes it's nice to read, but it's not ideal if you're wanting to follow something. So we've really tried to make it as easy as possible for anybody, no matter how tech savvy you are, to really embrace the program.
This has been great, Liz. And folks, I don't know that you need to know this, but I want you to know this. We don't bring anything to you unless we know the people behind it. Because I think, someone's motivation is critically important to how they deliver what they're doing. And Liz, it's great to see your passion. Thank you for sharing what you're doing. And folks, let's show you now how you can find out more about what they're doing. This is the front page of their website, Find Your Physical Freedom. And right now we understand that they are offering a 30-day free trial where you can go in and look through their extensive library. And I'm talking about not just videos, but articles and diet and nutrition and recipes and, all of the kind of motivational stuff that you need to start building the best you. And the web address is theoptimal.me. That's it. Liz Grantham, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day in South Africa. And I know we'll be in touch in the future.
Thank you. And I wish you all a great Memorial Day weekend.
Well said. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Mark and Laura, one of the things I'm really glad, Mark, that you had her on. One of the things about the whole workout conversation that we had earlier is, man, we're all getting to that stage in life where it's not just to work out to look good anymore. It's to work out to stay healthy and to stay as independent as we can. Were you guys watching in the news this week? I've been thinking about this. May, we've been so distracted by everything else. May was a tough month. We lost Jerry Stiller and Fred Willard and John Glenn's wife and Eddie Haskell and Phyllis George and Little Richard and was it Roy from Siegfried and Roy? All in the last couple of weeks. And how interesting would it have been to know some of those people who really made a name in years gone by as we were growing up. Well, we do happen to know someone who knew those people and a whole lot more. In fact, she made quite a name for herself. She is a legendary comedy writer, a true female pioneer, as Mark said at the top of the program. She wrote the Mary Tyler Moore Show, Bob Newhart, The Partridge Family, Maude. She was part of the Laugh-In, Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, and she wrote Movies of the Week. She's really an amazing person, and she's here now we can let her in the room, the author of the awesome book. It's called Hot Pants in Hollywood. It's a book that you've got to read. Sex, Secrets, and Sitcoms. Say hi to Susan Silver, everybody. Susan.
Woohoo!
I don't know how to swim. I have a bike in my bedroom. I don't ride it. I couldn't grow any boulder. I'm trying to grow less boulder. And, and I wish I had a South African accent. It's the best accent.
But look what you did despite all of those handicaps. And we all reminisce about the old stars like Jerry Stiller and Mira and a lot of these people that have come and gone. What was it like? What were they really like? What was television like in those days?
It was back in the Stone Age. No, first of all, I did know Jerry and Ann. I had the honor of meeting them because we had a mutual friend. And I must say, I talked to Ann more. I was a little intimidated. Jerry was a very sweet guy, lovely guy. They were terrific people. She was one of a kind. Back in the day, it was really run by men. There were not too many women. And as I had talked about in the New York Times, I wanted to be a writer when I was on Laughing, but they said, no, you can't be, because the guys are in an apartment, they're wearing their underwear, and they want to, how can I say it nicely, pass gas. And you can't be there. So I said, oh, all right. So I started writing in my office when no one knew it with my partner, Iris Rayner Dart, who later wrote Beaches, and the great Gary Marshall, who we lost a couple of years ago, was my manager and mentor. And I kind of got in with Mary Tyler Moore, which was starting at the top. I said it was downhill for the next 20 years.
But look what you did, Susan. You were like the queen of reinvention before that became a popular term. You've had so many different experiences in your life. And let's fast forward to now, because after all, this is Growing Bolder. And you had a column in New York Society, which was a great column. You're single at an age where this is a big thing for a lot of people, relationship things. You wrote a column called The Search for Mr. Adequate. Because it's
so perfect.
Yeah, you can't find, if you wait for Mr. Exact or Mr. Right, you never find anybody. But Susan, what
adequacy scale of
talk
zero?
Talk about the pitfalls. And to this day, you're still searching for Mr. Adequate, especially in a pandemic. How are you going to find one?
I've been divorced like from another century, and it's getting harder and harder. And now, since we don't leave the house, but as I said to you, Bill, I've been social distancing before it was cool. I think for 30 years I've been in the house. I was an only child. I'm a writer. I have a garden in New York, which is wonderful, so I can go outside. And I don't leave the house a lot, so I have to wait for someone to move into the building to see if I could go out with them. And now we'll have to wear masks. We won't know what people look like. I don't know. I think I'm just going to give up.
Oh, you can't give up. You've got too much going for you. Let's bring Laura and Mark in, because I know that they've been wanting to ask questions of you too. Laura, say hi to Susan.
Susan, my idol right now. Okay, you're amazing, and the bravery you had to have to go into a man's world. Do you have any advice for us, for women who are still trying to break into the man's world?
You know, the truth of it is, when you don't know you're doing something. It was the beginning of feminism. I was married to a terrific guy who said, do whatever you want. And I just assumed I could do it, and no one would say no other than my other boss. And I just did it. And I guess you have to be a little pushy. You have to have really good support system. Gary Marshall was my mentor. He backed me up. He got me into Mary Tyler Moore. They had started mid-season. And they said, well, if we get picked up, we'll use her because you're there backing her. So I started there, and it was such a wonderful place to work with such great people that I thought it was easy. So, from then on, it was like, wow, if I started out and it had been bad, I don't know if I'd have had the with it all to do it. In my book, I talk about the 3 R's, which are reinvention, which I have done, which Bill mentioned, resilience, which is really the important thing, and relationships. Those are the 3 things. And after I stopped writing, I had the luxury of moving back to New York and taking a year off and just meeting with everybody I could and networking and finding out what I wanted to do. And I went to work for Holocaust-related things. So it was a total, and Gary Marshall said I was a sitcom writer / Nazi hunter.
Susan, let me get just a little personal here, because I know not only do you not object to that. That's where you live. That's where you excel.
Oh,
So, if I may, you are an attractive, successful, intelligent, fun, funny woman. I'm not sure what men are looking for. Tell me what you're looking for. When you say you were looking for Mr. Okay or whatever, what's acceptable to you today? What kind of man do you want?
What a neat question. First of all, on the adequacy scale, it depends on your stage of life. When you're 35, you're looking for someone tall. So if you have a baby, he'll be tall. Now I'm not. Now I say I'm between 50 and death, so it hardly matters. But I want someone tall. I still want, because I love to wear high heels. I want someone really, really smart, smarter than I. My husband was smarter than I. My boyfriends have been. I love to be challenged. You don't have to be funny, because I am funny. I can't help it. And then there'd be like two funny people trying to. It's no good. Someone really kind and decent, and someone who used to like to travel, because I love traveling. Now I don't know. And someone younger.
There you go.
Well, Susan, let's take a quick look at some of these photos you sent us too, Mark, because the book has been flying off the shelves, and it's a great thing, and it really is a fantastic read, especially now that we have time. There's she talks of everything from dating Lenny Bruce, having a date with Lenny, fixed up by Lenny's mom, and she met Jim Morrison and hung with Sean Connery, and there were so many fantastic experiences, and this is what she looked like back in those days. You could tell. Even take another shot, Mike, the second one. Ed Asner once said that something like he couldn't believe that somebody as sexy as her could be as funny as she was. And you can't underestimate, Susan really was the person who used her own life experiences for all of these strong female leads. Shirley Jones in the Partridge Family, Mary Tyler Moore. These were Maude. These were amazing characters. Susan, it's very self-effacing. These are based on her experiences and her memories and the way she looked at life. So she was a huge part of the golden age of television. So Susan, after all of and a cancer battle, Susan is a cancer survivor as well. So all of this is in the book. But Susan, help us put a bow on this. What aside from the jokes and the anecdotes and the stories, what can we learn about how to live a life of adventure, a life of excitement, a fairy tale life, the way that you did?
That was my ex-husband, by the way, who will be like both embarrassed and honored to have been on the show. Something, we've had so much time to be alone and think. As I said, I'm an only child. I'm a writer. I do a lot of being alone and thinking. But I heard you guys say we have to be grateful. It is so true. And you have to build a network of wonderful friends. I couldn't do anything without my friends. My friends are my most important thing. I don't have children in a family, so I've gone out and I've rented 3 Israeli soldiers who I sent to college in my family. I have a beautiful little godchild who's a Make-A-Wish child, who is the love of my life. Relationships, reinvention, and resilience. When I was sick, I decided with cancer in 2009, I'm giving it 20%. 80% is my real life. I lost my hair. I have bad hair. It came back curly and wonderful. Who knew? So those are the 3 R's. And basically, my motto is, life ain't over yet, and we're still here.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Susan Silver, thank you so much. And Bill, we appreciate you leveraging your friendship with Susan to bring her to us. And Susan, it's a perfect lead in, and we thank you for this, to our Growing Bolder meme stream, where we share a thought, toward the end of each show. And, we're all worried about contagion these days, and with good reason. There is a highly contagious virus out there, but you know what's also contagious, folks? Kindness, hope, understanding, and as Susan just mentioned, gratitude. So be a carrier. We don't want to be asymptomatic when it comes to these highly contagious attitudes. And that's what's on my mind today, guys, as we wrap this up. And I wonder, am I naive to think that we can stop and we can listen and we can communicate and we can compromise? Am I crazy to think that we can show passion and compassion and empathy and understanding for others who have opinions that are different than our own? Am I a dreamer to think that there is a kinder, gentler world out there than the one that we've all come to know and the one that we apparently live in now? am I crazy to jump to the conclusion that everyone and everything has the ability to find a way to come together to make a difference and to work through our differences? It's a tough time. This is really a tough and challenging time for all of us. And, we just want to be an organization, a group, a company that encourages people to get along, to become their best selves, and to grow bolder, because that's really what life is all about. So, Bill and Laura, I always appreciate the time that we have to be together. We had some great conversations today.
We sure did. Very uplifting and inspiring. And thank you for what you just said. Trying to understand each other more will be one of my upcoming goals.
It's a great message, and it's one that we want so badly to spread. So folks, thank you for watching, and make sure you let other people know as well. You can watch this again. It'll repost. You don't just have to watch it live, but do let your friends know that Growing Bolder is out there, and it's an organization. We love teams. We all have to root for our own teams. Who wouldn't root for Growing Bolder? Let's get on the Growing Bolder team, and let's go win a championship in life.
Love it.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.
Hey, congrats. You were born to be 65. You're good at it. But you weren't born to be an expert on Medicare. But good news, you don't have to be. Growing Bolder has created a simple guide to take the guesswork out of choosing a Florida Blue Medicare Advantage plan. So go ahead, celebrate. Life isn't a destination, but a journey. And Growing Bolder is a great place to start. Brought to you by Growing Bolder and our partners at Florida Blue Medicare.